Good morning. Today I thought it was time to finally talk about planning 2025, and I'm going to start with a bit of a stationery haul. I have some new things I purchased for this year. I'm also going to share some of the things that I've had for a really long time just because they're my absolute favorites and I can highly recommend adding them to your stationery and organizing collection. I'm going to start with the classic, something that I've had for a very, very long time. These are the Zebra Mildliners, and these are a dual-ended marker. It actually took me maybe 6 months of owning these before I realized that they have two caps. The bottom has a thin marker and the top is like a thick highlighter type marker, and I love them. I think they came out with 2 new sets last year. I have every single one and I will continue to get them as they come out. I just think these are the nicest way to highlight and organize. So if you are studying and you need a lot of different color coordinated categories, then I would recommend these markers. They've got some really beautiful pastel ones that are just so much more fun than the traditional colors that you can get, you know, in your regular stationery stores and things like that. And these have just been a staple of mine and they will continue to be so probably forever. The next little favorite I have is a little pencil case. I think it's so handy to have a small pencil case to throw a few things in, especially if you have to travel to work or school, or you're going away somewhere, or you want to go and work at a cafe or something for the day. So handy. This little stripy one I got from Typo years ago. I think it may have been even 2016, 2017. And I wish Typo would still make stuff like this, but I know a lot of other brands have really cute little pencil cases like this as well. And I just have another 4 Mildliners in there as well. The next thing I've had for a couple of months now, I purchased some pens off Amazon back, I think this was in November, because my pens had run out, and I really like the Muji ones with the press top. Fantastic pens. I'm very fussy about my pens. I like an inky pen, but I also like it when they don't smudge. And I put these to the test a couple months ago, and almost immediately you can highlight them and they won't smudge. There's supposed to be 6. I am missing a blue one. I don't know where it is. It might be in my desk drawer, but these pens are amazing. They come in a really cute pastel pack, and they're just a push top pen. I think that's what you call it. They're super inky, really nice to write with. They also have this little gold detailing on them and this ball that kind of moves around. So if you like to fidget, then this little ball here would be perfect for you. On to some of the new things. Now, I did intend to make a stationery shopping video, but I actually lost a lot of the footage, and I went to Barnes & Noble, Paper Source, Target. I think those were the places that I went here in the US, and then when I was back in Australia, I went to Kikki.K, which I hate now, by the way. Kikki.K has totally changed, and it is so sad, but I went to Big W and Kmart and Typo and Officeworks, and I also went to a new place that I saw when I was in Sydney called Bespoke Letterpress that, in my opinion, is kind of like the new Kikki.K. Their stuff there is so beautiful, and I picked up a couple of things. The first one being this little notes and memo pad is really adorable. There's a magnet on the back, so I could actually put this on the fridge. I'm not sure if I will or not, which now actually does remind me of something else that I use to organize, which I will get up and show you in a minute. But there's also really beautiful gold foil detailing around the edges. I don't know if I'm going to put this on my fridge or just on my desk, but I think it is so cute, and I love to have a notepad where I can just jot things down and kind of write little to-do lists. The next thing I got is this gorgeous notebook. I think this is a B6 size. I love the pattern on this. One of the things about the Bespoke Letterpress is they actually had repeating patterns throughout a lot of their merch. They had bags and tea towels in this pattern, and I'm kind of regretting not getting a tea towel because I think it's so cute. But this also has the gold foil around the edges. The only thing that I've done in here so far is I have printed out some vision board type things and I stuck them in. Rachel Austin and I had a little bit of a vision board day. I will explain a little bit more about that later because that's part of my planning process, but I'm really happy I bought that. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with the notebook. I just wanted it because it was pretty. From Paper Source here and from Rifle Paper & Co, I picked up a sticker pack. There's 3 sheets in here, and these are just the cutest stickers. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them because I don't really have a weekly planner. I mean, I do. I have an old Kikki.K weekly planner that you can just fill in any date you want on it, so I can use it at any time. But I don't know, I might use this for scrapbooking, maybe even inside this book and kind of turn it into like a fun, creative journal type thing, which is different to the last thing that I have to show you, which is my new journal. This is my thoughts journal, I guess, if you will, and maybe this one can be like a creative inspiration journal, but every year I get a journal. I have a whole stack behind me. There's 6 years worth of journals in there. And basically it's just a diary. It is where I just brain dump all of my thoughts and my feelings. And what's really cool about it is I make sure I date every single page that I start, and I'm able to go back through all of my journals and see where I was throughout the years. And it's just really cool to see how much you've changed and you've grown. And that's one of my favorite things about journaling. I looked high and low to find the right journal. I was really hoping to get a beautiful floral pattern, but there was just nothing that I liked. And I'm also very fussy about my journals. I didn't want a spiral binder. I wanted a soft cover. I do usually prefer if they have like a clasp, but this one's totally fine. I also prefer it when they have white paper. This one's a little yellow, but I think this will do. This was like 10 bucks from Officeworks. I love the navy, the gold foil of the notes, and also the sides have been painted blue as well, which I think is a nice detail. It also has the little ribbon in it to be able to keep track of where you're up to, and I like it. So this is where all of my thoughts, my feelings, and just all that kind of stuff is gonna come out and go into. It's an absolute essential for me, and I've been doing it for, I think this is the 7th year now, so it's almost a tradition, and I don't wanna stop. I wanna be able to look back at my life and all of the things that I've been through and my thoughts and my feelings. And so that's that, but I'm still a bit uncertain about the other notebook and what I'm gonna do with this. So this one's gonna be a bit of a play around and just see what happens with it. I do also have another journal. This one I got a million years ago, and this is just kind of like my creative work ideas, my YouTube ideas, that kind of thing. So it's a bit separate. It's more of a work thing, less of a personal thing. But that's all the stationery that I've got for planning, except for the one thing I was thinking about on the fridge. Okay, this is a magnetic whiteboard. I bought this a couple of months ago off Amazon, and I highly, highly recommend. The whole thing is just a big magnetic sheet, and it also comes with a magnetic marker. It came with a bunch of other colors, but I really only liked the black one. And I have divided it into 2. I wrote these headings and this dividing line. It does not come with anything on it, so you can make this up into whatever you want. But I have a side for groceries, which is so easy. Every time I open the fridge or I look in the cupboard, I just turn around and put it straight onto the fridge. And then the other side is just like more like a to-get list of household items or things. And I've got like, I want a bathroom tray. I need to get some small 3M hooks and a vegetable peeler, metal bowls, just things that I know I need that are not necessarily from the grocery store, you know? This I can definitely recommend for planning and organizing. It's made things very, very easy. The next thing I was gonna talk about was my journal, but I realized I kind of already covered that, and like the importance of having a journal to get all of your thoughts and your feelings out. So I don't really need to go over it again, but like I said, I have 6 years worth of journals back there. This is the 7th one, and I think it's great. The main question I get with it is, you know, how do you do it? And you have to treat it like no one else is watching, which is true. Not one other person on the planet will ever look inside these diaries. It's completely private, completely personal, and you can just say whatever you want. Sometimes my handwriting is really neat, sometimes it's really messy and you can barely read it back, but it is just a place to get all of your thoughts and feelings, and it's actually very, very easy. I know some people say they struggle with it, but just write what comes to mind. If you want to write about what you see out the window, write about what you see out the window. It really doesn't have to make sense. It really doesn't have to be topical. You can chop and change. I go like through all kinds of things when I'm writing in my diary. So it's totally up to you, but it's just a nice way to kind of get those thoughts out of your head, kind of take the weight off your shoulders and be like, it's the book's problem. And I really, really recommend if that's not something that you have as part of your routine. You do not have to do it every day. 2022 was the year that I almost filled the entire book, and it's really, really thick. I didn't journal as much in 2024 as I was hoping to. This year, I really, really would like to fill this up. I have only done 1 diary entry, which was on Wednesday the 8th, and I only wrote half a page. So I'm not off to a good start. I really need to sit down and make sure I am just getting all of those thoughts out. But I just remembered what it is that I wanted to talk about with journals. This one is my 2023 journal. At the very beginning of the diary, I wrote a couple of pages about my life, just different areas of my life. The main one was the romantic area of my life, and I wrote, I think, 3 full pages. and I wrote each page as if it were the end of 2024 and it had already happened. So I'm writing a diary entry as if it's December 2024, and I'm like, these are the things I have, and so on. And 2023 was the first year that I did it, and it worked. I don't know if it's like a manifestation thing, but it worked. And I wrote so specifically about the type of person I was in a relationship with that it happened. And so I'm gonna blur it just for like privacy reasons, but I'm gonna show you, because at the end of 2023, I went through and I highlighted every single thing that came true. And looking at this, any of the gaps that weren't true at the end of 2023 have come true at the end of 2024. So here you can see how much I highlighted it. I wrote in so much detail about the type of person I wanted to have in my life. And so I wanted to try that again this year because I didn't do it in 2024. And I wanted to try it again 2025, not romantically because I'm in my relationship now, but for other areas of my life, maybe even romantically, like maybe there's some milestones that we would like to achieve, but it's just one of those things that I did it and it worked, and I want to do it again because I didn't do it last year. And I don't know, to me that kind of feels like I've got a 2-year experience with it. 1 year it worked, 1 year I didn't do anything, and the year I didn't do anything, I feel like I didn't have as much of like a direction as I did the previous year. So that's something I want to do, and I want to do it at the very beginning, and I did 1 page of it. Is it as detailed as the last time? No, and I'm thinking that maybe I need to do that. I need to sit down and make it really, really detailed. And I mean everything, and you write it as if it's the end of 2025 and it's already happened. So that's another part of the journaling I wanted to touch on. Highly recommend. Did it once, worked, didn't do it, things were a bit weird, gonna do it again. Okay, back to this journal where I was doing some vision boarding. So when I was back in Australia, one afternoon, Rachel Oss and I decided to sit down and have a day where we were cutting and pasting and making vision boards. So we got all of the supplies, and then we get back to her place and we realize that there's actually a function in Pinterest where you can collage in the app. And I didn't know that was a thing, and we spent the afternoon working on it. It was so much fun. I think Rachel's going to be uploading a video with all of that. I created 2 collages. I made a home one and then also a fashion one, and I had a couple of questions asking me how to do it. As far as I know, you can do it on your computer, but we just did it on our phone. So go into the Pinterest app, and then at the very bottom there's a plus sign, and you should have pin, collage, and board. If you don't have the collage option, update the app, because one of my friends had to do that and then it appeared for them. You click collage, and there you are able to start layering up images. You can get images from things that you've already saved, or you can just search all of Pinterest. So I'm gonna click this picture in the middle. Now, one of the really annoying things about it is by default, it cuts the image out. So if I click add, it's cut the image out to have no background. If you want to add a border around it, you can click it, select this little button over here, border, you can click the stroke. If you click it again, you have the option to make the border thin, thick, and you can make it any color you like. For most of mine, if I did a border, I made it white, which you can't really see on this background, but we'll leave it at that. And then you can click done, and then plus button, and you can start searching for more images. So if I take this one here, see how it automatically tries to cut it? I kind of don't like that. If you click edit and you go into shapes, and you click a rectangle shape, then you can just select the whole image, press done, and there you are, you have like a full image. You can also hold it and drag it to the back, kind of like you can in Instagram stories, and then that's how you start layering things up. With some pictures, it just will select the whole thing rather than trying to cut something out, but it's really cool. You can search for all kinds of things and start layering things up, and you can do it for every area of your life. And that was one of the things that somebody DM'd me about. They were like, this is awesome. I really struggled doing a full life vision board. Now I can do little mini individual ones for every single area. So you could have a full fitness one, or you could have a full wardrobe one, a house one, any of your goals. Maybe you want to travel. You can do it for every individual area of your life, and I love it. So I've only made the 2. I want to make more. I think it is just such a cool way to make little vision boards. I want to make like a general life vibe one, and I'm loving it. And the best part about it is I want to do this every month, every other month, every quarter, keep coming back to it and just stay on top of the inspiration and the vision for my year. And that's my favorite part, is that I can just keep updating this as I go. And what I was thinking is with this notebook here, I could keep printing them out, I could keep adding them into this book, writing notes and trying to figure out the vision for my life as a work in progress, rather than trying to do it all at the beginning of the year and following it through. I can keep changing it and updating it as I go. So I think that's such a fun vision board thing to try out. Give it a go. I love Pinterest. It's like my favorite app. I could spend hours in there just collecting and saving things. If you want to go and see my profile, all my boards are public. You can go and see the things that I save. I have like a home one, I have a 2025 one. I have also started a spring one, even though we're not at spring yet. I'm like getting the vibe for each season this year. So if you'd like to have a look at what I'm working on, maybe save some of the pins that I've saved, you can go for it. But that's a really great way to do a vision board. Will I do a proper cut and paste one as well? I don't know. That was the original plan for when Rachel and I did it, but we ended up doing this way instead. So I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But this was a lot of fun and I want to sit down and do some more of it. That's pretty much all of my pen and paper planning. I do have a whiteboard as well that's down next to my TV unit. I don't have anything on it right now, but I do come back to it throughout the year if I really need to get myself some sort of like bigger vision. If I feel like I've got a lot going on, I find that really handy. But I also have some digital planning as well. So I have my budget spreadsheets and I have been tracking my expenses continuously now for the last 2.5 years. I find it really helpful, especially because right now here in the US, we're going into tax time. It's gonna be my first tax return and I need to speak to my accountant because I have no idea what I'm doing. But tracking my expenses helps me stay on top of it when it comes to tax time. It also helps me make budgets. I have stopped spending so much money in the last couple of years. And I've made a lot of lifestyle changes that are helping me financially. I've changed my financial goals. I have long-term goals. Like, things have really shifted since I started tracking. It's so daunting and so scary and so uncomfortable. Like, when you first start tracking your finances, it's stressful because you see where your money goes and it's really uncomfortable. But once you get into the routine of it, you stop being so afraid of it. You start to get more comfortable. You can set challenges. You start to feel good about your purchases and the way that you spend money. And I think tracking is one of the best things that you could do. So I'll leave a link to my budget spreadsheets down below. I also have an updated 2025 habit tracker. If you want to track habits digitally, that's another way to go about things. If you want to try and add some things into your routine and stay on top of them, I'll have some of that down below as well. I also use my Apple Calendar. I have a bunch of different emails connected to it and I kind of consolidate everything into the one place. I find it really, really handy just when I need to check things. I have every person's birthday. If I get a birthday, it goes in. I make it an all-day thing and then I repeat it every year forever. So I'm on top of people's birthdays. And I also put my doctor's appointments and things in like that as well. The other couple of apps that I've recently been using, I was using AccuFlow for a while. I did work with both of these brands, but I do really like both their planning. AccuFlow is a really great way to color coordinate out my day and then be able to drag tasks in and tick them off. I switch between wanting to do things digitally and wanting to do things with pen and paper so often, and I never stick to a single way of planning. I have to keep changing it up to keep myself interested in it. So for a while there, I will digitally plan and then I will swap and I will go into pen and paper, and I change apps and things all the time. So the AccuFlow one with dragging and color coordinating was really great. Didn't like the whole monthly overview. That was not really my vibe, but as a daily and weekly type planner, really liked it. I like my Apple Calendar for my monthly. And then I also really like the X-Tiles app that I talked about in one of my previous planning videos. I made a little mini vision board in that as well. And if you like the idea of Notion, but Notion is just too much for you, X-Tiles is so much easier. It's super customizable. So if you like bullet journaling and you want to do it digitally, X-Tiles is the way to go. I found it so easy, so customizable, and like a really fun place to have a bit of a desktop so you could see everything. And I really liked that. So I use a bit of a mix of digital and pen and paper planning. I change it up throughout the year depending on how I'm feeling, but those are some of the apps and the stationery items that I am going to be planning out 2025 with. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know some of the ways that you like to plan and whatnot. I'm very excited for this year. I have a really good feeling about it. And must not forget, I have a mental calendar as well. I have a mental planner up here, and I've sort of got a plan as far ahead as maybe May, spring. I'm up to spring. I have between now and then kind of in my head, I've got the vision, I've got the timeline, the calendar, the events, it's all up in here, but I don't trust this, so I do put it down onto paper as well. So I am really, really excited. I just feel like good things are happening. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you very, very shortly.